Good morning and welcome to our monthly update on issues involving Greene County government. I'm Jim Miller. We're joined this morning by Greene County Mayor David Crum. Mayor Crum, always a pleasure to have you with us.
Good morning, Jim. Good morning, Greene County.
Well, the past Monday was the county commission meeting at the courthouse, and certainly the issue that everybody's been talking about, not just on a local level, but on a national level, was the resolution for the possibility of displaying the Confederate flag at the courthouse. And as everyone knows by now, the resolution was voted down by a margin of 20-1. And just give us your thoughts about how that evening went and everything that surrounded the vote.
Jim, that was one of those topics that really did bring out a large crowd. We not only had a full room in the regular courtroom where we meet, but several people. We had set up speakers in the overflow down in Sessions and a lot of people outside. And it was very controversial, and it brings a passion to a lot of people on both sides. But in the end, I thought it shown real positive for Greene County, and that's how I kind of look at it, the positive, because we took an issue that could be very divisive. There was a lot of discussion, a lot of talk in the community about it, and in the end, everyone was very respectful. The inside courtroom with the speakers, there was no trying to shout people down or any comments, and that's a good thing that we had, that everyone there was just respectful and allowed people to state their opinion. And at the end, there was a vote, and we moved forward with what I think can show very positive in Greene County as to how we can get along even with our differences.
You're definitely right about the respectful factor. It was really remarkable to me sitting there observing the proceedings that there was no outbursts from the audience. There was no, as you said, shouting or anything of that sort. It was just a very respectful conversation and dialogue on both sides, and it was. I thought it was handled with. I thought everybody handled it very maturely.
Yeah, and I thought it was just in the end spoke well and spoke volumes for how our county can accept people. No matter how much different their opinions may be, we're willing to let them speak.
This also kind of points to the idea of resolutions being brought forward by individual county commissioners. There's some counties where agenda items have to be approved by a committee to be brought forward onto the commission up for consideration. But Greene County, any commissioner can put forth a resolution. So there wasn't necessarily an endorsement from anybody else. This is the right that commissioners have as their part of their power.
It is, and serving on the commission for 4 years, and now there's been items brought that I thought we really didn't need to discuss. It didn't fit in, but if a commissioner believes it needs to be brought forth for discussion, we give them that opportunity. And there's pluses to that, in that it allows that individual commissioner to bring something up that doesn't get lost or hid in a committee somewhere. And that was why, again, on that, I felt like once this came up on the agenda, that it needed to be acted on. Was concerned that if it was pulled, that people would think that we were going to pull that and try to sneak it back in sometime in to suspend the rules and take action on it without it getting public notice. So once it was on the agenda, I felt like we needed to discuss and vote on it. And just so people know, our agenda is typically on our website about a week ahead of time before the commission, and they can go on there and look up and find the commissioner's packet and see what items are going to be discussed and on the agenda. And we've tried very hard in the last year not to have to suspend the rules to take action that may come up after it's posted in that last week.
And you pointed out, too, about the resolutions being brought forward. And at one point, it almost seemed like that resolution the motion was made, but there was no second that was being provided. And, of course, all motions have to have a second. And as you pointed out during the meeting, making a second doesn't necessarily constitute endorsement of whatever the resolution is.
Correct. It takes a first and a second for it to get on the table for a vote. And so there was a hesitation there, as you said, and we pointed out that second doesn't necessarily, and obviously in this case it wasn't an agreement, but it was that it needed to move forward and be discussed and voted on.
And that was Commissioner Jason Cobble who made that second. And, of course, obviously he voted against the resolution, as did the other 19 commissioners who joined him in that vote. The other item that was going to be considered, but we wound up being pulled, was a resolution about convenience centers and about municipalities that have convenience centers inside their corporate limits and what the county is contributing to that. Just explain a little bit where everything is with that at this point.
Well, we knew whenever this budget was adopted that the $2 million that the county has budgeted for solid waste each year was going to be very tight in order to get through. So some discussions are still going on, and that was one. As you know, Greeneville for years had paid their tipping fees, that being the cost when garbage crosses the scales. Tusculum had not been, so there was discussion, and it was determined that we would discontinue paying those tipping fees, and so then discussion continued. What about Miles Simon Bayleton? And this resolution was brought forward. I've had some discussion since with Mayors Gregg and Castile, and we'd determined it was probably just a good time. We'd been talking about it my entire year, that we need to just sit down and some of the things that cities and counties work together on as far as animal control and EMS and things, that some of those do make some contributions to sit down and see. And I'm going to kind of quote Tommy Gregg, we want to pay our fair share and be a part, but we don't want to pay more than what is our fair share. And so I think it's a good time. We're going to sit down here in about a week and with the mayors that will come and have some discussion on just all the issues, not just solid waste, that we've got going on that are kind of partnerships that we have to move forward. And kind of like Monday night on the flag, until you sit down and talk about it, it's going to be out there. And that's what we're going to sit down and talk about, some of the issues that need to be discussed.
One of the items that was passed, kind of a pass-through grant as far as some funds that have come in for bulletproof vests for the Sheriff's Department, a budgeting of about $7,000 from the Bulletproof Vest Partnership, grant money that's going to come in. That $7,000, about how many vests will that wind up purchasing, more or less?
Jim, this is an off-head type thing that I'm not sure, but I think those are about 500 each. And for some reason, there was some discussion some months ago about when the sheriff was trying to buy some vests because so many were out of at times. So I may be wrong on that number, but it's somewhere in that range, I think.
So that winds up being a decent amount, in the more 10, 15 or so vests for the Sheriff's Department. Some other items that just kind of passed on through with some grant money that has come in and some contributions and donations. One of the things that was approved was joining a purchasing agreement, and I found this interesting. It's with the Houston Galveston Area Council. How did this purchasing agreement come into play?
A lot of those are just national agreements that may have started in one area, and as other people tie into them, they get. And there's not a lot on that one, I don't think, from talking to our purchasing agent, that we would get into, but maybe some big ticket items that we've entered several of those in the last year that just gives us those economy of scale. And it's kind of like somebody said, if you tie in with the large national distributor or retailer, a Walmart, a Target, and you're a small mom and pop, but you can buy off of their numbers. So that's where it helps us in those things to be able to buy using their economies.
Another item that was on the agenda was funds from the TVA for construction of a boat launch and parking area there right above the Kinzer Bridge off Irwin Highway. And this is something that I believe was on the agenda once before. And I guess, is this project ready to go ahead? Where does it stand at this point?
It is. The application of the funds had to be approved back in June, I believe it was. It's been about 3 months, and what this is the follow-up that we've actually received that $10,000. There's no local match or anything. That's just something that TVA provides for some recreation promotion there. And so we have no county money that we'll be putting into that. But this is the accounting function where we've received it to put it into the appropriate line items. And what David will do up there, the highway department, is they'll just kind of clean that area up a little bit to improve the parking and put a small section of concrete that they'll put to help people. It's not going to be a boat launch. It's more of a raft, a kayak and nose to help people be able to get into the river and float down the river.
In kind of a situation where, as far as that money goes, spend it until it's gone, and then whatever you got, you got.
Yeah, yes.
During the meeting on Monday night, there was a presentation from Chuck Kearns, who's the new EMS director in the county, and he really went into quite a bit of detail in some of the things that he's been doing since he's come on board. And it's just, I found it to be a very impressive presentation and just a real eye-opener as to exactly what kind of work is being done with the EMS to really upgrade things and to kind of bring his expertise in and really develop some good ideas and move things in a good, positive direction.
It was, and I think that really illustrates that sometimes you need to bring those outside eyes and a different perspective in. And as Chuck has done some consulting work and stuff over the years, and his expertise and his knowledge and connections in other areas, as he'd indicated Monday night, he was able to go to a conference in Las Vegas that cost the county nothing as far as his travel or anything. It was paid for by an association that he's the president of. And so he was out there and was able to, through some of the contacts he had and there, save us some money on simple thing like a battery charger. We had several batteries that are needed for some of the equipment we operate that were like $400 each, and he was able to get a battery charger that will refurbish those batteries and save us some money on that and extend the life of the battery about 6 years. Tie in and looking at the utilizing a motorized or lift cots instead of risking injury to the employees' backs and shoulders and things, that trying to manually lift people in and out their power-assisted cot. They cost more, but it was just one of those things that as he looks and look around and you see things, as he said, 4 cots laying in the corner it needed to be getting rid of, and just to clean up some of those. So I think it's really going to, we're just seeing a whole lot of change in a short period of time. And we've had good employees there, and I think it's just really some motivation and things, and where he's recognizing employees that whenever people call and are grateful for the quality of care they've got, he's giving them a little certificate and posting and recognizing them for the hard work that they do.
And the other thing that he has mentioned multiple times during his presentation is cost neutral, cost savings. Everything is with an eye towards the bottom line, and he's trying to really lean up the operations and try and save a buck wherever he can, because a dollar saved in one place can be used in another.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's an expensive proposition. Running that, the equipment's expensive, and but where you can save and apply it toward improving patient care and improving the health and well-being of an employee, that they're able to do their job easier, faster, better, to get people transported and moving to take care of their health.
We'll be back with more with Greene County Mayor David Crum right after this. Welcome back to our update on issues in Greene County government with Greene County Mayor David Crum. I'm Jim Miller. The Greene County Airport Authority, Janet Malone, the director, spoke at the meeting on Monday and had an update on some construction that's going to be taking place over there over the next couple weeks and months.
They have, and I've suggested a lot of us never go by the airport, never see, but if you get a chance to go out by there, there is a lot that's been going on at the airport to expand that facility, to be able to improve. And one of the side things from that is the medical helicopters had talked in the past, and now they're moving forward rapidly. They're willing to expend their own money to build a hangar in order to house some units out there. So that will give a little construction, increase fuel revenue as there's increased base there. So that's a positive that's going on.
I remember at this time last year we were talking about the fact that the county government was pretty much the coffers were almost dry as people were starting to get their property tax notices, and the money was just not coming in at that point, and that there was having to take out a tax anticipation note and just all of that. But this year, I guess it's a little bit of a different story since the wheel tax increase went into effect.
It has. It's really created that, as I say, that more even flow of revenue that comes in to where we're not hitting near as many bumps and shortcomings in our tax revenue to where we can run government. We have the 3 big months, that being October, as people get their tax notifications and come on in and pay, and December, the end of the year, and February. And I'd encourage anyone that can to go ahead and come in, because it does help the county in being able to take care of things and not have to worry till the last minute if something comes up unexpected to go ahead and get that. But it's been much easier since September this year than it was last year, as we were under a lot of pressure. And I don't just say thanks to the commissioners. They've worked hard. It's not been an easy first year. I mean, they were really thrown into the deep end with budgets and things, and so it was difficult several first months, and we still have some things that we need to take care of, as we've mentioned in the solid waste, how short it's going to be at the end of the year, and needing to look at our convenience and what we can do to maybe improve some efficiencies there. And highway and roads, you've still got grass that needs to be cut, and here in a few months we'll be talking about salting roads. Mm-hmm. And as we're now getting some frost on the pumpkins. And,
yeah, it's going to be Halloween here before we know it, and we've already had a couple frosty nights already. And yeah, hopefully we won't be hitting the snow like we did last year, when February just wound up being just a big old mess. Yeah. But other issues that are on your plate right now, or things that you identify as things that people may want to keep an eye on as we move along?
Well, one of the things is we want to mention that next month is Veterans Day, November 11th, so our offices will be closed in observation of that. Congressman Monroe's field representative, Bill Darden, typically is down on that day of the month. He'll be here on the 12th, and so we're just still keeping busy. There's always a lot going on in Greene County, and we're coming up toward the end of the year.
Are you involved at all in the search for the partnership executive director with Tom Ferguson going to be departing? Is that something that you're being kept in the loop on?
Yes, I'm on the executive committee down there and meet, and they have hired someone to come in, and they're actually going to be meeting Friday with that consultant that's out looking for people in economic development. And again, Tom has worked hard, and we look over his career at the number of businesses that are coming in, and we have just got the notice by Worthington, and hopefully we'll have some others coming along here that are in some discussion phase, that we have the opportunities for some additional jobs. But we're looking for who may be that next person to lead the partnership in job search and economic development.
And the jobs are out there. I having conversations with folks, and they say, we're hiring. We're looking for good folks to come in and get the job done. And there's going to be, as you said, with Worthington, adding even more jobs, and and others as well. So there's you can see it. The numbers reflect in the unemployment rate that it's been pretty steady or coming down, and there is opportunity out there for folks who are looking for something in manufacturing or otherwise.
There is. I mean, I talk to people every week in different manufacturing facilities that are looking to hire.
Anything else that we can look ahead to or anticipate? You mentioned obviously Veterans Day coming up on the 11th. We've still got a few weeks to go before Thanksgiving, but it's just then it kind of all becomes a blur at that point as you get Thanksgiving and then Christmas, and then before you know it, we'll be counting down to 2016.
Yeah, it's amazing. We've already got Christmas trees out in the stores and things, but I do want to kind of end on a note here, Jim, that I spoke to a lot of people in the last week that were praying for our county and praying for peace, and that it would be a good meeting, and I think that was part. I don't want to take any success for how that meeting went and smooth. I think it was the citizens of Greene County and a lot of prayers that it would end up showing favorable on our community, and I just want to end on that positive. I think it did show favorable for our county in the end.
I absolutely agree 100% with that. Greene County Mayor David Crum, as always, we appreciate you taking the time to join us, and we'll do this again next month.
Thanks, Jim. Thanks, Greene County.